Hey, it's me, Ashley. It's been a minute. I'm being a little quiet because I'm in the bathroom. Kai is 11 months old. Like I said, I'm in the bathroom because he's sleeping in the living room. My husband is in the bedroom. So I want to talk about this book. I keep getting to the end of these books, you guys, and I'm like, I have to talk about it. So I run over to my husband and I give him the most insane book review ever, okay? I'm talking all the juicy details. I give him all I got and he just goes, that sounds really cool, babe. And I wanted to stop making videos just because I feel like it was giving me some sense of like stress before, but you guys, I have read, when I finish reading Goldfinch within this week, I will have read 69 books this year. I know what you're thinking, nice, but that's not what this is about. I have read so many books this year. Holy shit. Dude, it's crazy. And I've had so many thoughts about all of it. The old YouTube me would sit down, plan, write everything. That's what I did with my Throne of Glass videos, okay? Not these. I just want to sit down like we're friends and talk to you about my fucking books because you're consenting to all the tea I'm gonna spill. And by tea, I mean spoilers. So it's like I'm talking about this with you and then you can talk to me about it in the comments. You can even live comment. You can be like, give me a time code. Here's what I think about what you said right here. And we can start a book club. And we could be the planting book club. I don't know, man. It's been a year, okay, of like just reading out of my fucking mind. So we're gonna talk about it. And if this is for whatever reason your first time on my channel, hi, subscribe. Let's talk about these fucking books. I just read a book that I feel like I would not normally read, okay? And that book is called Phantasma. These videos, you guys, not for watching with your kids. So watch them with only other adults, okay? You hear me? I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna be talking about sexual themes and very triggering topics. This book has a lot more just like to what felt to me like a lot of meaningless sex, which I don't normally read a lot of. My book type is epic fantasy with also romance, not just romance. Sometimes I really do like just romance. Like I love the Ali Hazelwood books. I haven't read Bride because I'm too scared to, because I don't want it to ruin Ali Hazelwood for me, because I've only been reading her in terms of reality. But I'm not gonna get distracted on that tangent. This girl, her name is Ophelia, but they're gonna call her Ophi, and I'm gonna call her Ophi because how I feel when I read these books is it's like me and the main character. Okay, me and this main character are going on a journey together, okay, which means that I'm there for everything. I'm the little observer, dude. She's kissing someone for the first time. Guess what? We're both there. I'm there watching them, like, you know what I mean? Like, we're there together. I'm just as confused as she is how she's falling in love with someone in just a week, okay? I don't get it. She doesn't get it. I'll say this book was so good. But I did not, the sex stuff really tore me out of it. For the first time, I was literally skipping the scenes. I have to be careful because in romantasy, sometimes like sex won't, you know, be complete. Like it'll get interrupted by plot, right? And so when you're skipping through scenes like this, you have to like, just 30 seconds, okay? 30 seconds, okay? 30 seconds, because you never know. You don't want to miss the plot because you're just jumping to the end of a chapter. Because, you know, some chapters in romantasy, as we all know, as everyone in this club knows, can be generous. Okay, by the way, when I say skipping, I do combined reading. I should have said this before I started talking about this. I do combined reading between Audible and Kindle. So physical reading and then also listening. Because if I need to like do really boring things, doing the dishes, the laundry, doing anything that I don't want to be doing driving, dude, I don't want to put my book down to go do that. And guess what? I don't have to. I'm just going to put it Audible. When I'm listening to the books, I will just skip like 30 seconds, right? Sorry, that must have been really confusing before. Like, why is she skipping 30 seconds? Okay, it's because I'm listening to it and also reading it, and I use the whisper sync so it catches up. So if I'm skipping something on my phone while I'm reading the text, Audible catches up and it jumps me to where it needs to be, and then back and forth. It's so fucking It's such a good system. What I'm trying to say, this is the first series where I have felt like I am, not even felt, after chapter 21, I was just skipping all of the sex scenes because it was just, man, it just did not feel, I'm like, why is this happening? Why are you, like, they feel this, okay, so by the end of the book, right, everything makes sense. You're like, oh, this is why he's calling her angel. This is why they feel this connection, right? Like they're separated soulmates, basically, and they're like reconnected. It doesn't feel like other books I've read that do similar things, where it's like the characters are finding each other again, falling in love again or something. And again, it makes sense within the book's universe. Like all of the memories and everything are in this locket and they solve the puzzle. They don't understand this attraction. Like me and Ophi, dude, we're sitting here in this room. I don't know why she's in love with him. It's been a week. Like she doesn't know why she's in love with him. It's been a week. Neither of us get it. We're looking at each other like we don't get this. This is confusing. Get to the end. Totally understand it, Angel. I get it, Angel. But it's just very, here's my biggest gripe. Whenever a male main character enters the situation and gives a female main character a nickname, he's endgame. Every single time, point me to a series where a character gives a main character a nickname and they are not the endgame, and I will read it. I want to be confused. Like I want to be thrown off. Distract me. Dude, every single series that has been my bread and butter has had this red herring, or even 2 or 3. You don't know who they're gonna end up with. It's amazing. It's like, oh, this guy actually, this, like there are times where characters are not the end game. The entire time, you know what's crazy? I was literally rooting for Ophi to end up with Sin. I was like, he's gonna be our dark demon prince. And let me tell you, when we get to the end of the book, okay, and she cheats and gets to the end, and then she goes, Blackwell, and nothing happens. And then he just like kind of walks around the corner and he's like, ooh, let me introduce myself to you. Because then you find out that every time the competition fucking ends, dude, are you kidding me? You find out he gets all of his memories back. Kind of. Gets all of them back, kind of. Almost all of them. And then it's like, because he's got his memories back. He knows who he is now, but he doesn't know who she is until she takes out her heart necklace. Are you fucking... Like, when he fucking introduced himself as the Prince of the Demons, you guys, I was sitting there like, no, there's no way I didn't see this coming. I always see, like this whole time, I was so convinced. I was like, nope, he showed up within literally like the first or second chapter. There's no way he's endgame. Absolutely none. Well, he is, unless, you know, they do something different in Enchantra, which is going to be book 2, which comes out in 2025. I was so convinced, dude, when her and Sin like started messing around, I was like, oh, this is it. We're starting. She's gonna be like, oh, this feels like nothing I've ever felt like before. This is gonna be it. And then she's like, it doesn't make me feel like he made me feel. I was like, oh no, Blackwell is the end game. But I was thinking, I was like, okay, here's what I was thinking, you guys. I was like, okay, they're gonna get to the end. By the way, let me give you a brief explanation of Phantasma. I know we're 10 minutes into this rant about this, but if you don't want to read the book and you just want a synopsis, I will give you a synopsis. Ophi is a necromancer who is having to take over the job and position of her mother, who is tragically, we think, killed, but the doctor ruled it as a heart attack, okay? Her sister goes missing, and after searching her sister's room, she finds like a psychopath journal with like red thread and stuff about this competition called Phantasma, which travels around from city to city, and it's showing up in New Orleans where this takes place. So Ophi in order to try to track down her sister to convince her to leave the competition. However, we get this plot twist that you can't actually interact with other candidates for the competition outside of your group until you get past level 8 or 7 or something. So we're going through it. The first couple days that she's there, she meets Blackwell, who's a phantom. He doesn't have any memories and he needs help. But she actually met Blackwell the day before she entered Phantasma, before she knew her sister had gone missing. And he tells her to not join Phantasma and to get away from it because it's dangerous, but also that he needs a heart and a key in order to break his curse. And he just kind of like says that randomly. He's like, well, unless you have a heart and a key, like I have no interest in you. And that's like weird because then when we meet Blackwell again, he doesn't remember meeting Ophi at all. And he doesn't remember telling her about the lock and key, which we find out later is because every time Phantasma restarts, Blackwell loses all of his memories. And he has no memory outside of some carryover memories from his time as a phantom in Phantasma. And he doesn't know what's keeping him here, and he doesn't know how to break the curse. And as Ophelia is getting through these various death trials, she's slowly uncovering more and more about it. But all of the while, they're like bunnies, dude. And I skipped so much of it. And let me tell you, I normally love reading like a good, like a sex scene like that. The spicy scenes, some of them like really just make my heart feel really warm. It's like, oh my gosh, they're like falling in love. But this just felt like she always used it as a distraction. And that was the thing. She would like almost die and she's like, distract me. And I'm like, girl, I just don't like that. Doesn't feel but I've also never been someone who just like has sex, I guess, with people. Maybe that's TMI, but that's just never something that I've been into. So maybe that's not why I'm not into reading it, at least not yet. I haven't unlocked that talent tree shoot branch off yet. So as they're going through this challenge, she's learning more and more about him, and then this guy shows up and his name is Sin, and he's a demon, or devil, and he's like, I don't want you to learn any more about Blackwell. We need to keep him here. So he offers her, what I forgot to say is that when she meets Blackwell and they make a bargain, it's that she's going to help him break his curse, and if she doesn't, he gets 10 years of her life. Okay, so Sin comes along, I think after like trial 4 or something is when we actually meet him for the first time. And he's like, yo, if you make a deal with me, I will just let you out of your deal entirely with Blackwell and you can just leave because I don't want you to dig around anymore. And she's like, well, me and him are like, you know, kind of a thing. And also something else I forgot to tell you, because I'm terrible at talking about stuff like this because my brain is all over the place, is that it is against the rules to fall in love in Phantasma. And what Sin tells us in this interaction, the reason it's against the rules to fall in love in Phantasma, because when you're told that at the very beginning of the book, you're like, that's a really, really weird rule for a death game to have, okay? It's because the prince who is stuck there, who is stuck running the thing. So Phantasma is ran by the prince of the king of the devils, okay? We don't know who he is. But we do know that he is there trapped because he chose the love of his life, who was a mortal woman, over his father's bidding, and that made his father really upset. So he killed her and then imprisoned his son here as a punishment for eternity or until he gets bored. And Sin, for some reason, seems to want to keep him here, okay? So then he starts trying to seduce her. It like works a little bit. Her and Blackwell are like, well, we can't fall in love. Like, she discovers what happened to her parents, and her parents, we've ended up learning that her mom died of that heart attack because her father actually entered the competition 2 weeks ago, and they fell in love in Phantasma when they first met as teenagers. Ophelia was conceived in Phantasma, but because they fell in love in Phantasma, which is against the rules, they were both cursed, and her mother was cursed to every day lose feelings for her father. And her father, whose name I can't remember, Brandon, I think, find someone, her dad, he was cursed to fall more and more in love with her to the point of obsession, to where it got dangerous. So they tried to make it work. They got married, but then they got divorced, and she had to like start getting magical restraining orders against him, right? So he entered 2 weeks before her mother's death into the competition one more time to try to win the devil's bargain to break their curse. Okay, he was gonna bargain for their curse to be over. We find out that trial 8 or 9 takes the love of your life and puts them as a dupe into the room with you, and you have to figure out which one is fake. And if you fail, the real one dies. Well, Ophelia's sister gets put in there with her, okay, and she correctly deduces that neither of them are her real Genevieve, her sister. So her sister lives, but we find out that the reason her mother died was because when her father was at the stage of Phantasma, he failed and it killed her mother because he could not correctly deduce which one of her mother was correct, which is so sad. Really tragic stuff. We get to the end of Phantasma. She learns what his real name is, and she opens the door to the witching room, basically, or the whispering room, which is where she's able to, she thinks, be able to summon the guy, the demon who's running Phantasma. And she's right. So she says his name, she gets in there, says his name, and then is like, maybe Blackwell can help me with this trial. So she says his name 3 times. But guess what? This is where, like I said at the very beginning of this video, we learn Blackwell is actually the prince, the son of the king of the devils, which makes him the prince of the devils, which makes him the, you know what I mean? Literally blew my mind. Anyways, the plot is crazy. It is incredibly, incredibly good. I couldn't get with spicy scenes, man. I didn't really think, like, there was one scene where I was like, wait, this is kind of cute. And it was the one where, like, they're trying to stay away from each other, you know, and so she's, like, wanting to do stuff, and he's like, no, and she's like, well, then I'll just take care of it myself, and then, you know, stuff happens, and I'm like, oh, like, that scene was really fun. The plot of the book, the idea of it, oh my gosh, you guys, when I tell you, I love a good death game book, but when I tell you, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time that they were in the truth circle going around trying to, like, you know, the true or false death game. Oh my god, bro. Her fight with Cade, oh, it was everything I ever wanted. So, okay, personally, I would rate this book 4.5 stars out of 5. I only won't rate it a 5-star, which is, well, okay, that's pretty high, but I don't care. I don't care. People are like too religious with their ratings, okay? It was really, really, really good. The plot was really good. I think, weirdly, I would have enjoyed this book if it was more Fade to Black, or if it was actually a real slow burn, or if they were enemies, like actual enemies, because it didn't really feel like that. And I don't think they were supposed to be, but I don't feel like it just, he was immediately, like, in love with her. Like, he's like, oh, I just, you know, and she's like, really into it, and I'm just like, you just met. And I know that's the whole point, like, they just met, but really they're soulmates from like 50 years ago. It's not enough. It's not enough of a reason for me. But anyways, really, really good book. I just needed to rant about it. I'm gonna be ranting more about this stuff. I am about to finish the fucking Plated Prisoner series. I have so much to say about it. Oh my god. It is probably my new favorite series, up there with Throne of Glass and then the House of Beating Wings series. And then When the Moon Hatched, also probably gonna be one of my top series ever. Oh my god. Quicksilver, also really good. So anyways, I'm gonna talk about these books more, but I always get into this state after I finish one. I'm like, oh my god, I have to talk about this, and I have no one to talk about too. I'm gonna start talking to you about it. We're gonna make these videos. We're gonna sit in the bathroom floor where I can chat with you without having to wake up my baby or bother my husband while he's hanging out with his friends. And we're gonna talk about books. It'll be our bathroom plant book club, dude. Get ready for it. I'm excited for it. I hope you like it. Anyways, if you want to see more of my crazy book rants, like and subscribe, I guess. I will leave you the links to some of the Instagram content creators I watch, but I'm thinking I'll probably like put this on maybe Instagram too. I don't know. I know Instagram's like the place to be, but like I just don't care enough. I just want to film dumb videos of myself talking about these books, and then we can talk about it together. Okay. Anyways, love you. Bye.